Hey guys, I'm Laura Mae Ramsey. You might know me from TikTok where I make videos on my ARFID recovery, or maybe you're new and that's cool too. I recently made a TikTok asking people to give me their questions so that I could come over here and make a Q&A video. I did my makeup once again while I answered the questions because it's more fun for me that way. If you want to learn a little bit more about me and see me do this makeup, then keep watching. Okay, where did I lose my brush again? Guess what, guys? I found my blending brush. So hopefully this time my makeup looks more decent, and if it doesn't, keep it to yourself. I never do greens. I'm gonna do greens. Shake it up. Let's get the first one. Duplicity Sarah asked, what do you fear in food? I kind of already touched on that a little bit, but I fear bad reactions. My main thing right now is the fear of allergic reactions. Or getting sick, triggering my heart condition that I have, my heart rate condition, things like that. Any type of bad reaction, that's the fear. What do you do if you have anxiety about something, try it, and you don't like it? That is from Chi Chi Z Kitty. That kind of happened recently when I was getting the nerve to try quesadillas. I used to really like quesadillas, but like veggie quesadillas. But since I don't have a ton of veggies right now, I was just doing the plain cheese quesadilla and I didn't like it. But people were kind of asking me like, what's the difference between just not liking a food and then it being a fear food? The difference is, if I don't like something, I just don't like it. I'm not scared. I'm not like scared about eating it. It doesn't induce anxiety. My fight or flight doesn't kick in. I'm not shaky, my heart's not pounding. Just normal old don't like it. And I can tell the difference because, like I said, it's not inducing anxiety. I just don't like it. I'm probably gonna pronounce these wrong. I'm sorry. Mick Sharpius wants to know, how do you keep the courage / strength to fight? And the answer to that is, sometimes I don't. First off, you know, I have bad moments where I take a break, have a bad day, because we're only human, that's gonna happen. But I do a lot of stress management and anxiety management exercises with my dietitian and my therapist. I definitely would not be able to do the food exposure series that I'm doing on TikTok without these exercises. And it took probably like a month and a half of doing these exercises regularly before I even got up to actually doing fear foods. I think that's really important to keep in mind. I didn't just up and decide I'm gonna try my fear foods. Which, hey, maybe somebody can do that. I personally cannot. I had to work up to it, and you don't really see that so much. And if you just see my series, it seems like I just decided, hey, I'm gonna do this. No, it took a lot of work. These exercises are things like yoga, deep breathing, visualization, journaling. I'm supposed to do daily walks. I kind of suck at those. Art therapy. For the first like month of working with my dietitian, we didn't even do fear foods. All we did was stress management. Jenny Jen 0920 asks, are you close to being able to get your medical dog? Yeah, I am. If you don't know, I am getting a service dog. It is a medical and psychiatric alert service dog. I was fundraising for a while. That's actually why I started making these shirts and selling them, and then I've just decided to continue doing it for income. I did raise enough money, which is amazing. I was supposed to be getting her at the end of this month, early March, but I actually just got an email from the trainer that it's delayed because of COVID. Which sucks, but I understand. So I'm waiting on figuring out the time frame now, but I am getting her. I'm so excited. I have a name picked out and everything. I'm not gonna tell you yet, just in case I change my mind. Don't worry, I'm gonna blend this. I like to lay it down on both eyes first, and then I blend. Don't ask me why, I just do. Kennedy asked, what goes through your head when challenged with a difficult food? I've struggled with body image type EDs, but never ARFID. What I like to tell people is, imagine sitting down to eat a handful of spiders. It's kind of like that. When it's a food that I'm scared of and I'm sitting down to try it, my brain is saying, you haven't had this in a while. What if you developed an allergy? Hey, what if this makes you sick? This might make your heart start going crazy. Or it'll just be like, hey, what if you eat this? You might have a panic attack. You don't want to have a panic attack, do you? Don't eat it. Or sometimes I just have tons of intrusive thoughts about the food. Like, hey, this could have poison in it. Or I'll just start picturing it with bugs in it. Just nasty stuff. And once you start thinking things like that, it's really hard to find it appetizing at all. But sometimes it's hard to explain, but sometimes it's just not even a coherent thought that I can like relay to you. It's just like something in my brain is like, no, don't do it. And I'm like, why? And it's like, I don't know, but don't. Like, it's more of like a feeling than a thought sometimes. But I did not know my dog was in here. She just scared the crap out of me. Do you ever get sick from trying new fear foods? That's asked by Crackhead Sky. Not really. Sometimes my stomach like isn't used to the food and it kind of gets a little upset, but I'm learning that that's okay and not to be so fearful of stomach aches. Because since I do have like really bad health anxiety, any type of like physical symptom like that weirds me out. But I haven't actually like had any sort of bad reaction. And that's what's making it easier to keep going, is I'm like, all right, now that I'm doing it and I'm seeing that I'm not having these reactions that my brain thought I would be having, it's kind of starting to like help me unlearn the fear, if that makes sense. Do you have a specific food you're working up to? That's like yes and no, because I do have fear foods that are my big ones. Peanuts. It's like number one. Any sort of nut, actually. Cinnamon's a pretty big one. Mushrooms is a big one. Chocolate is a huge one because chocolate has caffeine, and because of my heart issue, I'm like terrified of caffeine. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily just like, once I get peanut butter, I'm good. I'm trying to work towards complete food freedom, is what I like to call it, where I'm just not even worried about it. I want to be able to, when I'm craving something, eat it. That's it. I want to be able to, if I'm out and about and I'm like, ooh, that sounds good, I'm gonna go through a drive-thru. I want to do it. I want to be able to go to a concession stand and not worry like, oh, does this have traces of peanut? Does this have, you know, whatever. I want to be able to not care. That's all. I'm so sick of caring. This wasn't in the Q&A comments, but somebody did ask me like, why even eat these foods? Like, why not just go your whole life and just not eat these foods? And it's like, well, I eat the same thing every day, every single day. And I want you to imagine doing that every single day. It gets old fast. And there are some people who have ARFID that it doesn't really bother them and they don't mind, and they'll eat that every day and be content, and that's fine. Like, you know, more power to you. But I think especially since I haven't been like this my whole life, why would I want to stay this way if I could try to work past it? It's funny because I was thinking about doing like a Valentine's Day themed makeup, and I'm doing like a St. Patrick's Day for some reason. forgot to wet my beauty blender. I'm back. Christian Schmithers asks, how can we be uplifting for friends with eating disorders? If they struggle with weight control and gain weight, is it polite to comment? I think it is safe to say that you should probably never comment on somebody's weight. Not probably, actually, just 100% don't. Especially if they have eating disorders. Even if it is ARFID. I mean, I don't have body image issues from my ARFID, but that doesn't mean that I don't have body image issues. You don't want to upset them or trigger them. I would never just bring it up. There's actually quite a few people who asked what you can do for a friend who has ARFID or any sort of disordered eating. Somebody also asked how to confront them if you think they need help and they maybe haven't come to that realization yet. It's kind of hard for me to answer because I have never been in that position. I would say to keep in mind that you can't force anybody to get better. They have to be ready. But when it comes to actually sitting down and talking to them about it, just make it a point to not sound accusatory or like they're in trouble or like they are dumb. I think sometimes people don't even mean to sound like they're talking to you like that, but they do. So just be really aware of like how you are approaching them. And also, don't take it personally if they're not at the place yet to get help, because you can't do it for them. I think approaching them with zero judgment and an open mind and understanding is really the best you can do. Okay Sizzle asks, can you give some examples of some of your irrational reasons? I always feel really silly explaining some of my irrational reasons. Mostly it's that I'll be allergic. And the reason that's irrational is because I don't have any food allergies. Like there's really no reason for me to think I'm allergic to anything. But because I also have OCD, and I think these are kind of common OCD intrusive thoughts, I'll have like this irrational fear that somebody has drugged my food. I will freak out thinking that my food has poison in it. Not that I think somebody's like going around and putting poison in my food, or drugs in my food, but that it's like somewhere along the line of it being produced, maybe somebody accidentally dropped something in it in the factory. Like that's my reasoning. Like why? I don't know. I have like contamination fears, so I'm scared that somebody had dirty hands when they made my food and it has sickness in it or something like that. If you could only see how dry my skin is. I really hope it's not coming through on camera because it is bad. Why did I powder my dry skin? Any affirmations you give yourself before eating? I used to roll my freaking eyes at people who told me to do positive affirmations. I thought it was so silly for some reason. I was like, bitch, I have anxiety. Like, I can't positively affirm my way out of anxiety. My dietitian is all about them, and I gave them a shot because I got desperate. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised how well they help me. Like, I don't know if they will help everybody, but I really like them. My main ones, since I started thinking my body wasn't capable of handling food, I say my body is capable a lot before I eat. I say I can trust my body. I can trust food. I like to say I am capable. A lot of times when I'm doing my yoga, I will repeat affirmations in my mind while I do it. And it's kind of cheesy, but what I usually say is, My body is capable, my mind is capable, I am capable. Like over and over. And then I'll say, I can trust my body, I can trust my mind, I can trust myself. I just really used to hate when people told me to do positive affirmations. Because I hate when people are like, you just have to think positive. It's like, oh really? Thank you. And that is actually a good segue to the next question. Let me find it, who asked that? That Winter Lover asked, how do you deal with people telling you to just eat? I used to get really freaking mad over that. Honestly, sometimes I still do. I'm not gonna even pretend like I'm over that. But I like to try, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, saying, imagine eating a handful of spiders. That is how this feels. Or if you know something that they're scared of, like heights or the dark or something, trying to kind of like relate it to that so that they can understand. Or I tell them to fuck off. I hate the word just, because people say, oh, it's just peanut butter, or oh, it's just a cookie, or oh, it's just cake, or like whatever it is. Like, it's not just anything to me, okay? It's a big deal. And someone saying just kind of just invalidates how serious it feels. Luckily, I have a really good support system and people don't say that to me that often. I've gotten a few stupid comments on TikTok of people saying like, grow up. But I know that's coming from a complete place of ignorance and I can't help you through that. Whoops. I think it looks better than last time. But I also still don't have my glasses on, so I could be wrong. I used to do makeup all the time. It was like my thing, especially special effects makeup. But I haven't done it much, especially since the pandemic. And I really miss it. So this has been fun. A good reason to get myself to do it is making these videos. So I hope you like them because I like doing them. Caitlin Bona asked me if I could show my tattoos. I probably will do that on TikTok. What's the first fear food that you have conquered, or was it the fear? Damn, I can't read. Abby Hunt 32 asks, what was your first fear food that you have conquered, or what is the fear food you want to conquer first? The fear food that I want back the most is probably cinnamon. It's a tie between cinnamon and peanut butter because I freaking love both of those things, like a lot. I think cheese is like the first thing that I was like, screw it, I miss it, I'm gonna do it. Yazzie Wall 13 asks, am I proud of my progress? I am. I am. It took me a while to be able to be proud of myself, but I am. So Ashley Rose 25 asks, how do you reintroduce fear foods? And is it scary trying to reintroduce a familiar food that became a fear food? All of my fear foods are familiar foods that became a fear food. Since I haven't always had ARFID, I have eaten pretty like regularly my entire life up until I developed ARFID. So all of these foods that became fear foods, like cinnamon, peanut butter, chocolate, stuff like that, are things that I used to eat and love. I never was a picky eater, so I ate a lot of stuff. I don't really think anything was off the table for me for a long time in my life. Like, I was the kind of person that would do like the ghost pepper challenge, or like those candies with like little bugs in them, like stuff like that. Like, I just did not have any sort of weak stomach or anxiety with it at all for a long time. As far as how do I reintroduce foods, it depends. Sometimes I like to pair them with safe foods so that it feels less scary, but sometimes I like to just like say screw it and do it, like before I can think about it. It really depends on what the food is and like the level of the discomfort that I have with the food. Kayla Hatcher says, friend of mine has ARFID, she recently opened up, how do I help her? Make it clear that you are there to support her. Never judge her reasoning for why she's avoiding whatever food. Honestly, I think it would be okay to just straight up ask her, what can I do to support you? Because everybody's personality is different. So things that help me might not really help her. One of my favorite things that my friends have done for me is one of my best friends, Katie, texted me once and was like, hey, what's your safe foods? And I gave her a list of my safe foods. I was like, why? And she's like, I'm gonna help you come up with like new meal ideas with your safe foods. I think support like that is the best kind of support that you can give. But ask her what would help. Oh, what are they doing? Okay, so someone accidentally didn't get their name in it. Says, are these foods that you used to like, or is it a variety of things that you used to like and dislike? Like I said, pretty much all of my fear foods are things that I used to love. Believe it or not, I'm not a picky eater as far as like what I like. I kind of like everything. It's just a matter of if I feel safe eating it or not. Is the fear more about getting sick from the food or about the food itself, like texture? I know I kind of already answered that. It is the fear of getting sick. But the reason I wanted to include it is because I do want to add that a lot of people with ARFID have texture issues. It's not my main thing, but it is part of ARFID, so I wanted that to be clear. Are there any foods that you wouldn't eat but now you like? That's from Maggie Niffin. Maggie K. Niffin. Yeah, actually, I would not eat eggs for a long time. I wouldn't eat dairy for a long time. I would not eat spinach for a long time. Cream cheese. I know I already said dairy, but cream cheese. Cereal. I'm making progress. Futuro T. Christine says, I love that shirt, which it's actually this same shirt that I'm wearing in that, which I made and I sell at lauramayramsey.com. Shameless plug. I want to know what your foods that don't bother you are. Do you have any safe foods? Yes, I do. My main safe foods are potato chips, bread, toast, crackers, veggie chicken nuggets, and veggie bacon. Oh, and cottage cheese. Those are the things that I can eat every day without really being worried. Muggle Mad wants to know what my favorite food was before ARFID. Peanut butter. I could eat peanut butter every freaking day. I loved peanut butter and I miss it so much. It's kind of a boring favorite food. I don't even care. I miss it. Peanut butter and Mexican food. Veggie fajitas with chips and queso, refried beans and Mexican rice. I'm gonna do this dark lipstick that gets all over my teeth when I talk. So hopefully I can keep that from happening. This is NYX Cosmetics Liquid Suede in Vintage. See, there it goes on the teeth. This is my least favorite formula from NYX because it feels really good on your lips, but it never really dries down. And then since my teeth are crooked, it gets all over them. Okay, so I love this question. It is from Karma Lynn. She asked, did you get married before you developed ARFID? Can you talk about how he is supportive? Yes and no. I didn't get diagnosed with ARFID until we were about 2 years into our marriage. But I realize now that I've learned about it that I've been developing it slowly since I was 19, but it didn't get severe to this point until 2 years into our marriage. So he's really been beside me throughout the whole journey of it getting to this point. It was 2 years into our marriage, but 4 years into our relationship. So yeah, he's gotten to witness the whole thing. He's been great with it. I think what's important to remember when it comes to your partner is that they're not gonna always be great. There are times that he slips up and he says things that irritates me, or I slip up and I'm taking out my frustrations on him, or whatever, because we're human. I think the best way he supports me is that he doesn't push me, and he knows that tough love does not work on me at all. If you try to use tough love on me, I'm gonna shut down and just get pissed. So he's really great at being patient with me. He's amazing with my ARFID. He's made an appearance in some of my TikToks, so you can kind of go creep and see if you can find him. But we've had to kind of grow together in this and learn what we need from each other. We've had to really find out what works for us, and what works for us is he doesn't necessarily try to fix anything. He doesn't try to give me answers. He just is there to support me, to love me, and to be beside me while I go through this journey on my own, rather than him trying to do it for me. I love him. I could go on about him forever. I was actually thinking of doing a video sometime soon with him in it. And maybe we could talk about like the dynamic of having a relationship with mental illness involved. I don't know. Let me know if you think that would be interesting. Devin Nicole Art 11 asks, are you finding that eating your fear foods is getting easier as you go through this challenge? Yes. It's blowing my mind. My therapist says that it's because my brain's starting to realize that all of my avoidance was kind of like not helpful anymore. Once I started doing that first fear food, it's really helped me to continue to keep going. I'm realizing like, okay, wait, I really thought raisins were gonna hurt me, and they didn't. So if they didn't, then maybe cinnamon won't hurt me. Now I haven't gotten to cinnamon yet, but I'm hoping to. I knew it. How long has it been on my tooth? It gets easier every time, and I'm really happy about that. It's not simple. It's still scary. It's still a challenge, but I'm able to look at the evidence of, okay, I've gone this far and I've done this many. Chances are this will go as well as that one did. Sorry, there's somebody outside with balloons taped to their car and a lot of people around it. And I don't know what's going on. We're in a pandemic, people. What were your first signs you had this? That's asked from Coffee Lovin' Mama. Just like avoiding food, like fully, like to the point where it was actually triggering fight or flight panic responses in me, is when I was like, something's up. Something's wrong. And actually a therapist pointed it out before I even did. So I think that's really helped me, is that I didn't find ARFID on my own and like think I had it and present it to a doctor or anything. Like they brought it up. I'd never heard of it. So I think that was kind of a wake-up call to see that I have been developing this for a long time and I didn't even notice it. So it's kind of hard to answer that because like I kind of didn't notice until it became severe. The comment also says, doctors say it's acid reflux and just anxiety. There's that word again, just. I hate that word. Because it is probably anxiety, but anxiety can also be a part of ARFID or whatever the issue is, like OCD or whatever. Like at the end of the day, they're mostly anxiety-based disorders. So Tink 2003 asked, do you have a fear of drinks or is it mainly food? And what about liquid foods? Drinks are involved. Liquid foods, since my issue isn't texture-based, like it doesn't really change if it's liquid or not, because my fear is that I'm gonna have a bad reaction to it, and if I'm allergic to the food when it's like in whole form, then I'm gonna be allergic to it when it's liquid, or if it's gonna make me sick or poisoned or whatever my like irrational fear is. Some people with ARFID though can do liquids like way easier. It just depends on what your ARFID reasoning is. Vivian Carrots, who is my internet mutual friend who I really enjoy, wants to know, do you also have a fear of taking new medications and what do you do to help with that? Medicine is my number one fear, like more than food. Medicine is like kind of what started all of this. I kind of touched on it in my previous YouTube video. Having that bad reaction to medicine is what made me get this severe, and I don't have great advice for you because I have not figured that out yet on my own. I haven't taken any form of medicine in over a year. That includes like ibuprofen, Tums, Pepto. Like I can't, I'm so scared of medicine. I don't want to be. I think medicine's amazing. I love that we've progressed as a society to get to medication. I hate that I'm like this, but I'm so scared of it. I will say, I think it would be the same type of exercises and challenges that we do for food would be good for medicine. My therapist before once mentioned kind of working on visualizing myself taking the medicine and being fine for a while, just to kind of try to replace that like negative fear that we have in our minds. So maybe you could try that, like visualization, and then working your way up to actually maybe holding the medicine, or maybe taking half if it's the kind of thing that you can have. But of course, check with your doctor first, because I have no idea if that's like something that you can do. I'm sorry, I wish I had more helpful answers for that, but medicine is like I said, I'm more scared of medicine than I am food, so it's really hard. I'm so sorry. Okay, I think that's all of them, and if I missed your question, I'm so sorry. Ask me in the comments below and I will try to answer you there. Or hop on over to TikTok and message me, or Instagram, whatever. I hope you guys like these kind of videos because they're really fun for me and I enjoy doing them, and I appreciate all of you guys. Oh, and thank you for getting my YouTube to 100 subscribers. That's so cool. I know that's nothing compared to some people with their millions, but I have always wanted to make YouTube videos and it's cool to be doing it. So let me know if you have any ideas for things that you'd like to see on here instead of TikTok. I like doing these longer videos so I can talk more because I'm very long-winded. Let me know what you think, and I will see y'all later. Bye.